Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new toy sculptor, a Wi-Fi version. This is the Z8 from Zhicheng, if I'm not wrong. So this model is a basic one, and as you can see, there is a full prop guard system, okay, surrounding everything and protecting very well any prop contact. It's ideal for beginners. So with such kind of I would say protection is more dedicated for beginners, mostly flying indoors. So we have a 720p camera version because there are three editions, one with 0.3 megapixel VGA, okay, Wi-Fi broadcasting, one, and it's mine, with a 720p 2 megapixel camera sensor, and there is another one with also 2 megapixel but also with a wide angle. So I've got the intermediate one. Let's discover a little bit the contents of this new toy quadcopter. Okay, here are all the contents, and let's start with the accessories. I always start with the instruction manual, small printed in English and the last part in Chinese, but it's printing in black and white where you can find all the instruction. For example, here all the role of each transmitter button. There is an original way to start the engine as well to stop, okay, but everything is here, and especially you will need the QR code here to scan the Android or iOS application. So what we have a small bags with one USB charger ending with the JST in 2.5mm format pitch, 4 spare props. Well, strange choice because actually the quadcopter is super well protected. We have an FPV phone mount to be installed on the transmitter, and we have a battery pre-installed in the quadcopter. It's a 450 mAh model, and ending with such kind of connector compatible with some Ratchin model, for example. So no discharge range mentioned, and if you need some exact dimension, it's about 38 by 20 by something about 9 millimeters. And if you need an exact weight of that, okay, it weighs close to 12 grams, okay, so pretty light. And let's now focus on the transmitter. It's a gamepad style. There is a 2-in-1 MCU per RF chip, an unknown reference for me. So the possibility to hack this radio protocol for deviation TX or some stuff like this, open TX, is pretty small, the probability, because it's pretty hard to hack when we don't have individual RF chip. So it will be hard to capture SPI data to hack the protocol, unfortunately. But anyway, we have a SAMPAD gamepad style where it's more or less good. We can, and as you can see, all the sticks command are centralized. It means that there is a barometer to stabilize at least altitude, okay. We have some trimming button on the left pad, and here the camera and photo button, as well headless mode and 1K return. Be aware, as many toys got captured Wi-Fi 1 recently, all these photo button and pictures button are not working, okay, so you have to trigger the recording from the application. On top we have here a speed mode button, okay, 3 speed mode available, and here is to perform 360 flips. You can also click vertically on either on the left stick or on the right stick. If you click on the left, you will start the engine, okay, and if you click it's on the right, it will be an emergency motor stop. So be aware, if you're in the air, the machine will fall from this position. So how to install the FPV phone mount? Pretty easy, just clips, and no problem to install, for example, up to 6-inch FPV smartphone, no problem at all, okay. And I can, this one is a 5.5, and you can install even a larger one, I think a 6-inch, without any problem. So that's a good point. So let's now focus on the quadcopter. Basically the plastic is a kind of recycled plastic, you know, not super smooth, and it's this type of hard plastic. And I think if a big damage, big crash occurs, the plastic will crack and be split in different parts, but it sounds more or less quite solid. Let's check that at least its weight standalone. We have something about 47.2 gram, and if I had the battery weight, we reach 59 grams, so a little bit less than 60 gram. As you can see, there is absolutely no real presence of light, just one unique here on the rear side. So here is the battery bay. So you need to push forward to raise the cap, and you just need to insert the connector with the plastic notch front and just insert it, and voila, you can really insert very easily, and then close, push and move rear now to lock definitively the position. Good news, the 2 megapixel sensor camera, the lens orientation can be adjusted from 0 degrees. Maybe we can dream a more positive one, but also from a negative, completely targeting the ground. Wow, why moving forward is more easy and more useful to have something about a positive angle. But on the other hand, at least for this basic 2 megapixel edition, the lens thread is only a 5.7 millimeter. It means that it's an M6 format, and it's pretty hard to find, and I don't know to find a compatible lens thread lens. So if you can, please maybe select as written in the choice somewhere in the box. There are so many choices available somewhere. So maybe here there was stickers mentioning that there was also here two of the Z8W with a wide angle, the last one. Okay, so maybe this one will be much preferable, especially if you plan to fly outdoors. So how to turn on? Long press the central button. Okay, and after long press. Okay, and now you have only one flashing green light for rear and just a light on the Wi-Fi module. So then you have to turn on the transmitter, and as many toys quadcopter, you have to push up and down to definitively bind the machine. And now the green light stays solid. It means that you can control the machine. So as I said, if you left click, you will start the engine, and if you right click, you will stop the engine. Okay, so let's have a focus on the application. So if everything is okay, you should see on the Wi-Fi list the device which is written ZC and a series of number. Just need to connect, no password. Okay, and then when it's connected, you can run the application VSFPV. Okay, and when you click on connect, you will have the video feedback here. So we have a 720p preview, and as you can see, the latency is huge. Okay, it's a Wi-Fi device. We have a 720p preview. The image is relatively crisp. Okay, you can guess now the FPV latency, and it's about 300 milliseconds. So no really FPV friendly, but for basic scene shooting, scene centering, it will be not so bad. So we have the basic icon. So as I said previously, all these buttons here are useless, and you have to trigger photo by this button. Okay, and you can start video recording by the second one. You have a time lapse starting. Okay, click one more time. Here you have the folder when you can see the recorded photos. Okay, press back, or if you need to see the video recorded in MP4, it will be displayed normally. Okay, and return one more back. You have the FPV. You can select as well the speed mode. Second is 60% rate, 100% for the last one. Okay, and associated only uniquely with the application, you can control the machine with these virtual sticks. You have to click here to turn on the virtual sticks. Okay, so by default, you don't have the altitude hold stabilization, so it means that the throttle stick at the bottom position, so you have to control also in this mode of the altitude. But if you are more beginner, you can press this one, and now you have the default altitude flight mode, and it will be more assisted. Okay, so you can turn off everything, and the last are some settings. For example, you can reset the gyroscope, okay, and turn the bottom one and turn on the headless mode, okay, and you can reverse, for example, the video feedback, or if you have virtual reality glasses, you can split in two, okay, and to enjoy a little bit more the situation. Okay, so it's a basic twice quadcopter like many in the market, okay. At least we have 720p version, and as I said, the radio protocol is unknown. I didn't manage to bind it with any existing one, so no information about the RF characteristics and about this maximum control range. We'll test that in the field. And let's go now to check the performances. Welcome to the other test of the Z8. Okay, so today is particularly wind-free, so probably the best situation to test. Be sure that with such kind of probe guard system, the wind resistance will be relatively weak, so it's mainly an indoors flyer. Anyway, I will try to fly it outdoors. Okay, so the first thing is to bind the transmitter first before to perform the Wi-Fi connection to your smartphone. Okay, so I will long press to turn on the quadcopter, and in external part the light is not super visible, so you have to be sure that the green rear light is flashing. Then after a couple of seconds you will have to push up and down the throttle to definitively finish the binding. Now it's time to check if the Wi-Fi is here, so I will first turn on my screen recorder, okay, and before to try any Wi-Fi connection, okay, and after a couple of seconds you will see the ZC, okay, and on this phone, or you don't need any specific Wi-Fi password, so I can press back and I will turn on the video recording, okay, and run the application. Okay, so I install it in my drone folder, and I will run VSFPV, okay, and click on connect. So after a couple of seconds the video is here. Great, so I will be able to start recording. Press the camera, but in the same time I'm recording with the screensaver. So with the screensaver you will have also the main interface and the graphic user interface, and on the direct recording you won't have it. So left click to turn the machine, and let's see. Okay, so let's check the altitude hold. So let's see, and how its altitude is not so bad. Okay, you have to know that this kind of machine is drifting, okay, because altitude hold is one thing, but complete position stabilization is another thing without GPS, okay. But in wind-free condition it's particularly good. The FPV preview is not so bad, the color are more or less okay. As you can see, versus time the machine starts to drift, no free launch. So this is a maximum speed in beginner rate, super slow, very adapted for indoors beginner training, okay. The yaw is a little bit fast, so if I click on the left stick I am in the second speed mode and it's a little bit faster, look at that, but not super fast. The yaw is relatively fast. Click one more thing and I've got the maximum speed. It's not super fast, as you can see, and it can just handle a moderate wind. So let's see how it's handling. So it's not so bad, okay. And the FPV preview is not so bad, okay. Of course, with the Wi-Fi machine, the latency is proportional to the distance, okay. So be aware of that. The more you are far, the less frame per second frame rate will decrease, but it's not so bad. The control is I found the yaw a little bit too nervous, so you have to play gently with the radar control, okay? But it's possible. The altitude hold is not so bad, okay? So as I said in the main introduction, you can also control everything from the smartphone, and in this case you can even disable the altitude hold only by the smartphone, okay? Let's try to see a little bit more in altitude. Today is relatively wind-free. Okay, I will try. The descent rate is something about 1 meter per second, as well as the ascent rate. Oh, I'm losing altitude fast. Oh my god, you saw? He lost altitude immediately. So maybe the battery starts to be weak, or sometimes you can lose drastically. I think I reach LVC. Okay, I will stop recording here. And it's not flashing, so it's strange. I don't have any visible LVC. Okay, anyway, let's try to fly one more time. I will click on. Okay, no, it sounds to be good. So we only capture now the general interface from the received smartphone, but no, I don't know what's happened. He decided to lose altitude. Maybe now it starts to flash. Okay, so I've got the LVC alarm. I hope you can see the green flashing on the rears. So I've got something about 4 minutes of flight time. Is not impressive, but for a 60-gram machine, okay, with a 450 milliamps power LiPo is not so bad. So I will click. I would like to see not an emergency landing, because if I click, look that. If I click on the right stick, it will stop immediately. It falls like a stone, so be aware of that. It could be dangerous. I would like something to have a slow landing. You don't have such kind of features. Anyway, what I can say, it's mainly indoors flyer, to be sure. The 720p feedback is not so bad. I deeply regret that I don't have the wide angle version. It would improve even more the 720p capture. The flight time is in average about 4 minutes, 4 minutes and a half is not so great. Well, the stabilization and altitude is not so bad, but at the end of the battery you have a big variation. Be aware of that. The prop guard is super efficient. You can fly indoors without breaking anything, not damage anything. Well, maybe if you put your finger laterally like this, you can hit the prop, but it's rarely by a coincidence. Anyway, it's a basic quadcopter. No real negative points. Okay, so if you install a better LiPo, I'm sure you can extend even more the durability. One last remark: in terms of motor maintenance, you know that brush motor, their durabilities are about 20-30 flights. You will need to disassemble all the cage to access to the motor, so at least a 10 party of unscrewing station. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this new video. If you like it, please submit, and see you next time. Bye bye.